Hi, my name is Adriana.
My name is Jasmine.
My name's Taya.
And I'm Robbie.
For our interview, we interviewed the CMO of Gardex, known as Baltaj Sandhu. We came across a startup known as Gardex by myself, who is good friends with some of the people on the team. The team is consisted of Baltaj, as I mentioned, Harry, Rahul, and Destiny. Rahul, Harry, and Baltaj were actually co-owners of a media group known as Bliss Media Group. Together, their work ethic was developed and became stronger as they worked more and more together. Dusty was really impressed by their work ethic to market and finance all their events with Bliss Media Group. So he decided to approach the three of them and asked them if they were interested in his startup. He approached them for his concept and asked them if they were interested in investing time and beginning the startup with them. The three of them were obviously really impressed by this idea and decided to tag along with Dusty, and that is how the Gardex began.
Before we get into the interview questions, we'd like to break it down in categories we covered: interview questions, 5 effectuation principles, and relation to the course content. Next, we're going to discuss interview questions that we asked Baltaj, the CMO of Gardex. Here are 13 questions that we thought were most suitable for this concept. The first question we asked was, how did you get your idea and concept of this business? Initially, he had said that Dastinger's idea and concept came to life, and he then scouted members that would be interested in making his dream come a reality. The second question we asked was, how many employees and what qualities do you look for in future employees? He voiced that he's looking to hire a larger team of individuals going forward, especially in regards to the new design concept and the functional brainwave detection compartment. He's also currently looking to hire more engineers. The third question we asked was, how do you advertise your business? In the future, they make a point that they want to personally be involved in advertising and use their Laurier background as one of their main selling points. Then we asked, how do you plan on growing your business? They're currently talking with private sectors, RCMP, and the Ontario Provincial Police, OPP. Once Gardex is implemented in smaller regions of Ontario alongside the proposed field sobriety testing, other regions will follow pursuit. The head chief of Waterloo Police, Brian Larkin, has been contacted via connections at Laurier, and Gardex is projected to be used in the police force as early as 2019 for their pilot project. What is unique about your business? What makes you different from your competitors in your field? How do you know when you had the right idea? Gardex makes it clear that they use non-invasive technology to determine whether or not an individual is impaired by looking at 5 different physiological signs. This is efficient in regards to how long psychoactive drugs can stay in the body. Marijuana can stay in the body for up to a week, and thus you cannot drive after getting high for approximately 3 to 4 hours. This could change drastically and decrease the false positives and bias in the current system. We then asked, what is one piece of advice you would give to someone who's just starting their own business? Baltaj made it very clear that you need to have a good team consisting of dedicated individuals, because oftentimes you can have an amazing idea, but if there's no teamwork or connection among the group members, the execution of the idea can go and fall apart. What is one thing you wish you knew before starting your own business? The team had mentioned that they could have saved time if they had prototyped first instead of trying to manage the business aspect of their company. They had prioritized the business aspect instead of the technological aspect of their business. They also recommended organizing specific tasks and roles for each individual on the team. It took them approximately 6 months to determine their strengths and weaknesses. What are the projections for your company at the end of the year? By the end of 2018, they hope to 3D print the shell of their latest prototype and start testing once their validation studies comparing Gardex to ECG, EMG, EEG have been approved. What is your company's goals? Where would you like to see this company in 5 to 10 years? Globalized use of Gardex in countries where alcoholism and psychoactive drugs are prohibited or illegal, such as UAE, India, and Uruguay. Through Dragon Den, the team hopes that they can use personal connections of the investor dragons to help implement this. How much time and effort was put into this? How many hours a week approximately? The founders are constantly working on their company in meetings and around the clock because they live together, which is also very beneficial because they're always able to work together. This then leads to entrepreneurial characteristics that they exhibit and that were integral in the startup of this company. The first one was patience. A new venture takes time and cannot happen overnight. Lengthy processes, especially in the startup phase. The next one was leadership. An individual needs to stand up to resolve conflict and lead the group in the right direction. The third one was time management. Meeting deadlines and efficiently manage different responsibilities was a big thing for them. Fourth was communication. Communication should be present on a regular basis in order to ensure that the productivity, success, and morale of the team works. Lastly, collaboration, which was a huge part in Gardex. Individuals from different academic backgrounds and skill sets came together to accomplish a common goal, leading to success of... Now moving on to the 5 effectuation principles. We have bird in hand, affordable loss, patchwork, lemonade, and lastly, pilot in the plane.
I'm going to start off by talking about the 5 different effectuation principles. So the first one is the bird in the hand. So this is working with the present means available. So they worked within their limited budget of $20,000. So this money was collected by the 4 founding members and no additional bank loans were taken out. Due to financial constraints, the team did apply to various competitions to raise funds and used incubators such as Accelerator and the Launchpad to use the resources that they did not have. The team insisted on releasing their prototype despite only having 3 out of the 5 available tests functioning because they wanted to get their product released as soon as possible because they knew that the startup phases or even just having a new venture is a very lengthy process. Affordable loss. So this is the downsides or risks involved and the realistic expectations given the limited resources at hand. So money was always a constant issue. They were able to stop themselves from investing more money despite their passion and drive because some of the members had previous experience. Due to their previous experience and knowledge in their previous startups and previous businesses and startups. So any small amounts of money were put into the account. So when we talked to the CMO, Bully, he mentioned that even small amounts like $5, $10, if they ever had any free money just lying around, they would put it toward the company. The lemonade, so this is surprises or setbacks that were faced or encountered. So they competed in a competition in Nova Scotia. However, due to a limited budget, they could not travel there efficiently. This means that a lengthy route was taken. So first they had driven to Montreal and then they had taken a train to Nova Scotia. They were competing for the first place prize of $30,000. However, they came in 5th place and did not receive any money. They were discouraged, and at this point, a professor had come up to them and suggested that they check out Dragon's Den interviews that were happening nearby, just a couple blocks down, and through this opportunity they were able to produce something out of an inconvenient or a negative setback, patchwork or crazy quilt. So all the founders are from different disciplines, so like engineering, science, business, as well as finance. Advisors in science and business were both contacted because of their insight and expertise. Investors and partnerships were made via cold calls. And then the Laurier Accelerator and Launchpad provided a platform and funding for the startup phases of their country. Finally, the pilot in the plane. Now, given the new budget from Dragon's Den, they are now currently working on implementing brainwave function and muscle tone into the latest prototype. They are now looking into 3D printing the shell of their newest model, and they wish to see the globalization of Gardex, especially in countries where it's not legal. So like things like alcoholism and psychoactive drugs are prohibited or illegal, like the UAE. They're currently in talks with Uruguay, and as of right now, they're talking with local OPP and like different police, different police officers in and around the GTA. So by the end of this year, they're focusing on they're gonna start testing on different people once their validation studies have been passed. And we should mention that no test is foolproof. However, Gardex strives to help police officers identify impaired drivers and reduce the amount of bias and misjudgment in the current system.
In
In conclusion, it should be noted that GuardX is a scientific innovation that helps better detect the signs of impairment through the observation of various physiological signs. The CMO, Bali, mentioned that he would like to stay committed to the company in the future and would like to invest in startups because they have so much potential to grow. They aim to reach out and be recognized by implementing cold calls and emailing. Many connections were started through friends, family, professors, and even locals in the Kitchener-Waterloo region. An example of this was them reaching out to a bus driver. Moving forward, the GuardX has been approved for validation studies at Laurier through the ethical board and start testing early 2019. The CMO mentioned that him and his team constantly went back and referred to the business model and the effectuation principles along the startup of their company. These concepts served as guidance because despite having previous experience in startups, example, Bliss Media Group and Student XL, the team had not dealt with a startup of this magnitude that had potential for growth.